Hello, my beautiful souls. Justine here. Welcome to the weekly intuitive card reading for, what week is it? October 23rd through 29th, which goes into, I know technically Halloween is the 31st, but this is technically Halloween weekend reading, basically. And gosh, you know, I say it all the time, but we are coming to the end of another month. It's so crazy how things just go by so fast. Okay. What do you guys need to know? Well, first, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Please like this video. Please share it with anybody who needs to hear this week's energies, that might benefit from hearing this week's energies. What else? Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. I said it last week. We hit 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I so appreciate it. And I think that's it. As far as the card decks go, I shuffled them up. I always shuffle the decks directly, but I changed the order of the decks. I usually do that by the week, each week. And then I said it last week, I moved the challenge and the surprise up here. So same spread, you know, same type of cards, card identifiers, I guess we can call it. But I did switch the challenge and surprise because I do find that the issue and the challenge are more of the same, I guess, or directly linked or closely linked is a good way to put it. Okay. Also, I do want to say I'm feeling more and more like myself, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. And if you subscribe to this channel, I'm going to be spitting out more and more content as I get better, and content that is beyond cards. So please subscribe to this channel, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Just give me a few more months. All right, guys. All right, let's just jump right into it and get into the reading, what you guys are waiting for, okay? So let's see. Need. High Priestess. Okay, so this is really about harness mystic power. This is definitely a power card, but it's a feminine power card. So this is really about harnessing your own power. And so this tells me already that we've been feeling kind of powerless, or we're kind of battling against, and by the way, this kind of feels like it's coming off last week, where maybe, you know, think of something last week that may have happened where, you know, you feel kind of like powerless against something. Guys, of course, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be tone deaf. I understand what's happening in the world, and sometimes when these big events are happening and we can get that helpless, hopeless, powerless feeling. So yeah, it could be that. It does feel a little bit more personal and more finite for each person. But yes, that counts. And so it definitely does feel like, you know, harnessing more power, doing something that can make us feel more powerful and more in control is definitely something that we need. Let's see what action needed says. Go the distance. Yeah, so it's basically saying, you know, we have to do something that makes us feel more powerful, more in control, okay? And so to me, it's almost like Spirit is saying, like, don't half-ass it, like, go the distance, do it. And like, actually don't say you're going to do it, actually do it. That's what Spirit is saying. So if you feel powerless, there's a way to correct it. There's a way to move yourself into a more powerful position, more powerful energy. And we need to get a move on, is what Spirit is saying. Okay. So that feeling of powerlessness should go away this week, as long as we act on what we need to be doing. Okay. Issue, femme fatale. Okay. So it's in the light, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Okay. So again, another feminine card. So I'm already kind of getting this, which is interesting because the action, going the distance, that feels a little bit more masculine, because the masculine is linked to doing. But this is really about tapping into our feminine. And okay, so actually this does make sense, because it is an issue, right? We're having trouble doing that. And so that could actually be what's holding us back from actually putting something into action. Sorry, I didn't realize it was actually under issue. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So it just feels like we're not necessarily tapping into that feminine energy of ours to, we're having an issue. God, I don't think I'm explaining this okay. Let me take a second and try to explain it. It's just saying that we're having a hard time like tapping into that. Not necessarily a hard time doing it, but having a hard time maybe feeling the compassion to be able to do it, for example. So it makes sense to me why it would be under issue. This could also not be linked to that, and this could just be you're having just a hard time tapping into your feminine energy in general. And so this could be for anybody that feels that they're not able to tap into that softer side, for example, or that more sensual side this week. Again, you don't, when I'm talking energies, when it comes to masculine and feminine, we all know everybody has each of them. And it doesn't matter what your gender or your sex is. It's just, we have it all. So everybody has it all. So, has both. So I do feel like an issue in that way. It could translate in a whole bunch of other ways that I think YouTube would flag me for. So I'm not going to get into it, but I think you guys kind of understand as I read the card what I'm trying to say. But it is under issue, so it feels like we're having a hard time expressing that, tapping into that kind of thing. Okay, but again, if it's coming off of these two, and it's and I'm reading it in the way of like connecting to these two, it could obviously be that we are feeling, we can't go forward because we're not tapping into the feminine energy. We're not having enough compassion. We're not, having enough empathy. We're not, there's something that we're just not doing. Okay, I think you guys kind of understand that, so I'll move on. Another challenge we have is balance, career, and home life. Okay, so we have a problem with balance this week. Pretty straightforward. We're having a hard time, especially I should have said this earlier, but I think you guys know that for the most part I use oracle cards. They're not literal, but this actually feels pretty literal. So it's saying, hey, you have a hard time balancing career and home life, so that's just going to be a challenge in general. And Spirit is just saying, be prepared for it and just try to do your, as the best thing that you can. That might be part of the power struggle that we have kind of going on here. So there might be kind of like a power struggle at home or power struggle at work, or you're feeling powerless, at home, being a parent, but you're having like an awesome, you're feeling powerful at work, maybe you have your own business and you're doing great there. So it almost just feels like how do I say this? It's almost like we're doing well in one thing and we're not doing so well in the other, and it just makes us feel, it could come with that powerless feeling, but also that unbalanced feeling as well. So we're gonna have to find different ways to kind of balance that out, and you'll definitely notice that you're excelling in one area and not so much in the other. So yeah. Okay, Hermit, retreat and recharge under surprise. Okay, so it feels like you're gonna surprise yourself with maybe how much alone time that you need, or I definitely feel like look what's coming. You guys know I read intuitively. That's why I call it the intuitive card reading. It feels like you're going to get an unexpected break, and it's going to be a surprise, right? And so it's going to give you an opportunity to retreat and recharge. So if you find yourself having some extra time in your calendar this week, extra, a couple hours to yourself or whatever it actually is, could be a full day. Any type of free time is definitely going to be a surprise and warranted and welcomed. And definitely take advantage of it for sure. All right, what do we focus on? Thinker. Okay, so this is about, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull the reflect card with it, because I also feel like these two, they're together for a reason, because it definitely feels like they're connected, just like I have these up here and these two up here. But okay, so we have focus. So this is about the thinker. So this is actually about not necessarily overthinking, but being more logical about things, being more a little bit analytical about things, really being focused about it. So definitely something to focus on this week is figuring out more logistics. If you have, this is just coming to mind, you have like a trip coming up, it's super important that you, this week really solidify the plans, really, sit down and actually write it out. Same thing could be for like a business plan or something like that, but the logistics need to be figured out. That's what I just keep hearing from the universe is like, Spirit is like, you need to figure it out. So you need to sit down and kind of crunch the numbers, crunch, the itineraries, like whatever it actually is. Is crunch the itineraries even a phrase? I don't even know. I made that up. I made it up. Okay, and then, so that's what we need to focus on, and then reflect is scribe. We've gotten this a few times. I think it's so interesting. Guys, I swear I really do a great job of shuffling before this. But the scribe seems to always sneak itself in there. Sometimes, again, because these are oracle cards, they can have slightly different meanings, because I read intuitively, but it says preserving knowledge and information, so it's really about writing things down. So the fact that it's under reflect to me is connected to journaling, writing things out. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of reflection coming through as the words get on the paper. So it's really actually important that you do actually put the words to the paper, is what Spirit is showing me. So excuse me. So a great week to journal and just like figure things out, and kind of a what's the word? I don't want to say unscrew, let everything out, like everything, like it feels like, yeah, it's great to be thinking, you know, but the thinking should be reserved to more logistics, more actual tangible things, when this reflect is more about, you know, feelings and yeah, thought, like abstract thought is actually a good way to put it, not necessarily logistics. So abstract thought, feelings, beliefs, things like that. So reflecting on that. So actually they're kind of like a little split there, so they don't always this is interesting because I pulled them together, but yeah, so you've got a couple, you know, one thing to focus on and then one thing to reflect on, so they're a little different. Okay, responsibilities, positive change. Okay, so your responsibility this week is to make positive change. Okay, so I definitely do feel like going back to this first feeling of feeling powerless and making a change to make sure you do harness more power in your life, feel more in control. This also too is talking about more positive change, and that could obviously be that, referring to that, okay? That could also be positive change with balancing your career and home life. So they're all kind of connected in a way. So it just feels like if there's a main focus at all this week, it's really on making more positive change in your life and changing things around, okay? So pretty straightforward on that one. Money and finances, you guys know I put career in here too. Shapeshifter, okay, transform and unveil your gifts, perfect. Okay, so this is really great because it feels like this is a great week for you guys to unveil some of the talents that you haven't used before. So what I'm getting is like showing somebody what you can do, utilizing a talent, skill, or degree, certification, like whatever it actually is, to actually implement into your work life this week that will really reap benefits financially and personally, professionally, all of it. And so it's just really about using gifts, skills, all of those things that you haven't used before to your advantage. And I definitely do feel like, again, financially lucrative, personally lucrative, and professionally lucrative. So either helping you get ahead, helping you advance, helping you financially, like that kind of thing. So I feel it's really good. So don't be afraid to tap into something that you haven't used before, especially if you guys think that you're rusty, because I almost feel like Spirit is like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you feel like you're rusty, like you're a shapeshifter and you know how to shift on command almost. And why I say it that way is because it almost feels like you're going to be backed into a corner in a way to not force, but there's going to be maybe an opportunity that maybe you've got to do it on the fly. You've got to do it like really quickly. What's coming to my head is like, you know, if you're trying to, you know, if your job is trying to sign a new client for whatever you do professionally, and they want to know if you know how to do X, Y, or Z, and you haven't done, you know, X, Y, or Z since college, and you don't know if it's changed, don't know if the program has updated or something like that. And so in order to sign the client, you have to say that you know those skills. So if that's you, then basically Spirit is trying to say is like, then say you know how to do it. You can do it. Like it's about confidence. It's about having confidence that you can still do it, that you can pick it up, that you're a shapeshifter, that you're adaptable, right? I think you guys get it. But Again, oh yeah, I didn't say this in the beginning, guys. You know I love it when you guys comment down below so I can see how the stuff resonates for you guys. You know I give examples sometimes, but I never really know how it comes to fruition. And when you guys tell me, it makes so much sense sometimes because I'm just reading what I get. And so when I have more context, it's so much better. Okay, so change. It says why. Okay, so this is about getting down to the nitty gritty, asking yourself the hard questions, getting down to root cause. Okay, and so that's under change. So let's go back here, and it says positive change. Feel like this can be connected because this is saying in order to change, you need to understand why you want to change or why you want to go in this, direction. And so maybe some of you guys would say, well, everybody wants to go in a positive direction, but what does positive mean? You have to kind of define it, and you have to kind of really figure out why you want to do what you want to do. Okay. And so that's kind of part of the change that's happening this week. So keep that in mind, you guys. Okay, friends. Okay, we have slave in the shadow, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Okay, so this feels, because it came up in the shadow, so this is giving more context actually to that first one. Remember when I said I understand that, big world events are happening and that could obviously make us feel powerless, this powerless feeling, which rightfully so, understandably so. It didn't necessarily feel that way. But I did want to acknowledge it, of course, for obvious reasons. But it does feel more personal. It feels more individual. And now that we have this coming from the friends, slave, as you guys know, makes you feel not free, unfree, if unfree is even a word, bogged down, feeling like you have no choices. What does this all mean? This all means you have this powerless feeling. So the fact that it's actually coming under friends is not great. So I don't feel it's a great, guys, we had to have a card like this because so far the reading has been pretty good for the most part, but this is not so great. But it does feel like we have some issues in our friend groups, in the people around us that we spend time with. Could be family too, for sure, but we just feel powerless against the people that we are supposed to be closest with and we're supposed to trust and feel safe with, and not great. So again, going up here, action needed being go the distance. So if you've been saying something, maybe you've been saying that you've wanted to put these boundaries down for so long within your family, and you haven't. And basically the spirit is saying go the distance, meaning do it anyway, okay? But again, do it with compassion, okay? That, we have an issue with doing it, in a feminine way. But it definitely does feel like we feel powerless among the people that are supposed to keep us safe and make us feel safe. And so that's not great. But because we have that action needed card up there, it makes me feel happy because we're making a change. But you guys have to make the change. Things just don't automatically happen. I'm picking up on the energies of the week. You guys still have to take action is basically what Spirit is saying. Okay, so keep that in mind. What does romantic connections look like? Twin flame. Okay, also not wonderful. Twin flame is something that it's a mixed bag in the spiritual community. People will have different definitions of what it actually is. It's not exactly an easy relationship. Let's just say our relationships this week, our romantic connections, are not going to be easy. They have that twin flame feeling to them, that twin flame energy to them, which means that we're going to be triggered a lot. We're going to see things mirrored back to us a lot. It's going to be a lot of push-pull, for example. So it's not going to be great. Again, this could be just another place where we may feel powerless. What I can say is, and I think you guys know by now, is I am never condoning or anything along those lines of, any type of abusive relationship. I am not for it. I do not promote it. And I think that's some of the, I mean, nobody promotes it, but I think sometimes with the twin flame connections, I think it gets a little lost in translation and lost in the crossfire when it comes to something like that. But I want to say I don't think, I mean, I don't feel it at all. But if you guys are in an abusive situation, you'll know, you know, get the proper help to get that support or get out or whatever it actually is. But definitely does feel like a more push-pull. Definitely feels like not easy, being triggered, etc., etc. So sending lots of love to you guys, because you know, that's not an easy thing, especially with everything else that's going on in the week. All right, what's important? We have Shaylin Master, be graceful in movement and action. Okay, so this is about doing things on a slower pace, making sure we're deliberate, make sure we're not making any mistakes. So even though go the distance, and obviously that's either a jaguar or a cheetah. If you guys could see that pretty clearly, let me know down below what that is. I love cats, but I don't know too much about big cats, but looks like a jaguar to me. But anyway, both of them are pretty fast. Okay, so I find it interesting that this is coming through and saying, all right, even though you're making that change this week to find some power wherever you can, especially within our relationship dynamics, make sure you be graceful in your movement. Make sure you're thinking deliberately. Make sure you're not, you're being more responsive than reactive, like that kind of thing. So definitely take a deep breath, guys, and, you know, move in a way that is not necessarily fueled by fear or, you know, uncontrollable emotions, like that kind of thing. So funny enough, sometimes I get one card here or there about, you know, connecting to our spiritual practices, making sure that that's something that you're doing this week. I don't have any of that so far. We still have 2 more cards to go. So obviously it's always a good idea. Obviously I'm always going to promote that. I try to meditate every single day. I mean, journaling could be more, you know, more of that type of practice that might help you actually connect to a higher power or whatnot. But I just find it interesting with something like this, because it's kind of asking us a little bit to slow down. I know we have that hermit, but that feels more like a break in the day or a break in the week or whatever. But still, you know, do the best that you can by, you know, slowing down. And obviously if you need to connect to a higher power to help you do that, then obviously do so. But I just wanted to point that out. I find it interesting that we don't have anything yet. Okay. And now we have come to the edge. Okay, so this is about being ready for something, ready to jump off the cliff, just ready to keep things going, ready to move forward, that kind of thing. So it's under health and wellness. So this means that we're ready to move on from an emotional journey, a mental journey, a spiritual journey, a physical journey, that kind of thing. And so we're kind of ready to go into the next chapter. And that's really great, because it almost just feels like we feel, you guys know there's that between worlds card in here somewhere. And basically, and I keep getting this feeling of, you know, being in the old life versus like the new life. I don't necessarily get that necessarily. I already said necessarily. I don't necessarily get that with this, but it's almost like it's not like you're in limbo anymore. You're ready for the next chapter, basically. So it doesn't, like, it almost just feels like you're not in limbo anymore. It's like God, guys, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with this. You're being patient. You're done with being patient. Your patience is coming to an end. All of your hard work with your patience is coming to an end, is the better way to kind of say it. Especially, again, some of you guys are on, you know, an emotional or spiritual journey. A lot of you guys know I'm on a physical one. And so seeing something like that is really great for me. But again, let me know how it resonates with you guys down below. Okay, last one, overall outcome. Drum roll. Detective. Okay. Great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Amazing. Okay, so figuring out the truth. So I really feel like this is more so connected to the scribe. more so connected to, oh, that's right, we actually have two really kind of more so reflective type, introspective, figuring things out cards. Okay, that makes sense. Also too, we can put the shapeshifter in that category because you're figuring things out. So overall outcome is you're figuring things out. You're figuring out how to get more power in your life, how to find more balance, right? And so I guess the word I'm looking for is clarity, is that I definitely do feel like the week is going to bring more clarity than you guys think it will. And I will say this, it feels like the beginning of the week, it's almost like you get more confused, but like towards the end of the week, you start really figuring things out. So I will say that. So, you know, by the weekend, I really do feel like you guys are going to have a lot more clarity about how you want to go forward. And by the way, it makes me sad because I forgot what I said earlier. I think I said it earlier, that it is Halloween weekend and this reading is, you know, going into the holiday. It makes me kind of sad that our friendships, family, romantic connections aren't the greatest during a holiday weekend. So try to have fun as much as you possibly can for people out there that actually celebrate the spooky season. But again, it does feel more so like a week of epiphanies or more clarity or, you know, getting more of your power back, which again is actually a really positive thing. But too bad it's not a, you know, basically it would have been nice if I did a reading that said something about having lots of fun. So maybe that's next week when, you know, on the actual day of Halloween. So hopefully we'll have more of a lighthearted, fun reading next week. Okay, that's it guys. I'm gonna head out. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Please like this video, please subscribe, share with people that may need to hear some of these messages, and put your comments down below. I respond to all comments. And yeah, that's it. All right, bye guys.